Hello everyone, welcome back to more Legend of Blue Blur, where we play the Sonic game in chronological order of the release. And last time we went through Green Hill Zone, the unlockable gift for 180 emblems. Just felt like showing them all off, and if you're wondering, yes, that is Knuckles in the background. I switched my theme, which I guess is something I'll show off right now while I'm already at it. I think it's in the settings here.
You can choose various settings.
Here, it's this one.
You can change various items on your menu screen.
You can basically switch out character to whoever you want. I find it kind of funny too, like whenever you go here with Eggman or Rouge selected, they'll scold you like, what, am I not good enough or whatnot?
Customize your menu screen.
Like, I'll skim through them all.
Menu screen customization. Yeah.
What? You don't like me?
I actually kind of like him.
What?
Definitely don't like her.
Good enough for you?
You are far from good enough.
Customize your menu screen.
And you can go back to the main one too. Also, there is an unlockable one. I don't know if it works in this version. I did test it on the Gamecube version and it works. Just slowly twist the left analog stick clockwise for a while until you hear a chime. It does take a minute. There we go. And then you go in, and for some reason, President Secretary has her own theme. Also, if you're playing on the Dreamcast version, albeit through DLC, or the GameCube version, which includes it automatically, there are extra themes as well for, what is it? It's I think it's Omachow, Amy, and Maria Robotnik, which you would have to get a certain threshold of emblems, either 50, 100, or 180 respectively. Then you'd have to go to the Chow Garden Black Market and buy them for 10,000, 20,000, and 30,000 rings, respectively, again. But, like with everything else in the Black Market, it's totally random whether or not they'll show up, so I didn't want to put myself through that. To the best of my knowledge, no one's added it into this version at all. Sorry, I've got a really bad case of hiccups right now. If I'm stopping talking, that's why. Alright, let's show off this bonus video.
Sega.
Sonic Adventure 2 is really a much more streamlined game than Adventure 1. You've got Sonic and Shadow with their high-speed action, Tails and Eggman with their lock-on shooter stages, and lastly, Knuckles and Rouge with their treasure hunting. I especially like the latter half of the game where the hero side and dark side converge, and the characters team up for that final stage. It's an action game, but I think that especially in that latter half, it has a really dramatic story. Back in Adventure 1, there were all sorts of things I wished I could have done, and when we made Adventure 2, I was finally able to put them in there. We wanted to add a game element that fans would want to come back and play again and again. So that's why we implemented the whole Chow system. The Chow are these creatures that evolve as you progress through the game. They undergo changes like they'll grow wings or become a lot faster, and so the initial base Chow can't have any special characteristics that make it stand out in any way.
Personally, I'm not all that good when it comes to coming up with things that are cute and cuddly, but one of the female artists on my team came up with some ideas to fit what we needed. She's presenting the ideas to us. At that point, none of us could really tell if they were appealing or not. All we said was, oh, okay. But once we put it all together, and you could see them moving around on the screen and coming to life. I thought, yeah, that's good. I don't know if this is something we've ever told anyone, but back when we were working on Sonic Adventure 2, we were living in San Francisco. So we had cars, but sometimes we'd get a little careless, and every so often we'd get hit with parking tickets. And they were what, about $30 or so? Anyhow, there were these little cars that would go around passing out the parking tickets. And these people were just doing their job, but still, every single time we'd get a parking ticket, we'd be thinking, there goes another 30 bucks. So, in one of the stages of the game, this little car shows up, and Sonic can attack it and just destroy it. It's like, all right, revenge. We were doing little things like that.
Back in the Genesis days, there wasn't really a lot of communication going back and forth between the development teams that were in Japan and the marketing teams that were in the US or Europe.
Sonic as a character has had something about him that's more Western than Japanese.
It actually wasn't very rare for us to find out after the fact that the names of characters or other things had been changed to something completely different. And back on the Genesis, the only change had been that Dr. Eggman had become Dr. Robotnik. With Sonic Adventure, for the first time in the series, we had voiceover and the ability to tell more of a story within the game itself. And so we figured, well, let's take advantage of this opportunity to fix this whole Dr. Robotnik thing. The way we did it was we essentially told the audience, okay, his name is Dr. Robotnik, and that hasn't changed. But Dr. Eggman is a nickname that the other characters call him.
Dr. Eggman is an engineering genius who develops all sorts of robots with a wide range of functionality. And designing each of those was really fun. In the end, though, his creations always get destroyed by Sonic. You've got the whole boom, 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 boom. And after his device falls apart, he's left in that last machine of his, the little egg-shaped craft. In the end, that's the only thing that ever keeps him safe. So he takes all these ideas, and puts all this money and effort and whatnot into making some new contraption, and Sonic still always just destroys it in the end. And so Eggman comes out in that little machine again, like it's a symbol of his persistence. No matter how many times he's defeated, he puts it behind him. He doesn't give up. He just runs off going, curses, and heads off to fight Sonic another day.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to put some background music in there. That is really boring to listen to plain. But there's music at the very beginning, and then when they start talking, it was dead silence. It's super awkward. But, I mean, there are some interesting tidbits in there, which is why I decided to go through with playing that out. Like, the whole thing about Cityscape basically existing for the exact reason we thought it does, which is so the dev team could vent frustration about parking tickets. That's great. I guess I'll show this off too. It's nothing really amazing. I find it funny too because it uses the tutorial music from the Gamecube version, but it's not the tutorial. Not the meme tutorial anyway. I'll show that off in a second once I switch over to the Gamecube version. Admittedly, this one's probably better, but again, it's not a meme. And again, like, there's just controls. Just shows you your controller. It shows the most disfigured 360 controller I've ever seen. I don't know what controller they're using, but it's not very good looking. Whatever. We are done with this version of the game unless I end up using the HD version for the two-player battles. So I'll see y'all in a second when I switch over to the GameCube version. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I switched over to the GameCube version. I mean, technically it's a Dolphin emulator of the GameCube version. I still own the physical disc, but I don't have a GameCube anymore, so kind of screwed. Got a Wii, but that's a hassle to set up, and it's a newer Wii, so it's an even bigger hassle to set up. Because I wouldn't be able to use my GameCube controllers. So if you go into Extra here, there's a little button called Tutorial, which is not in the HD version. You would only have emblem results and sound tests in that. So let's go and see what this tutorial tab has to tell us. Get some popcorn ready, everybody. This will be a while. And yeah, I used the secretary theme on here too. Whatever.
Let me tell you about the basic controls used for all characters.
I would mute my mic here, but let's be honest, you'd all go crazy. But this is probably going to take something close to 20 or 30 minutes, so get comfortable.
Here's the controller configuration.
And stuff like this, I'm pretty sure, is the reason why they got rid of this. Plus the whole making it easier to... I feel like they could have still left it in. Could just rename it to something like Omochao Explains or something.
Action assigned to B-Button differs depending on the character you choose. Each character has their own special actions.
The B button thing might be why they got rid of it, though. Because they were planning on releasing this on PlayStation as well, which would have been a really big headache. The PC or Xbox, not really that big a deal, because the B button does do what they say it does, as does X, but... they're asking a lot to convert circle to X or whatnot.
What special actions? The action window in the upper right corner indicates what action is performed with B-Button.
Or X button, but we'll get to that in a second.
Actions include whistle, pick up, throw, and look. In 2P versus mode, B-Button can be used like a special attack. These will automatically appear in the action window.
For some reason, that one line is out of sync with the subtitles, and it's really weird. I don't know if that's an emulator glitch or if that's how it works in... I want to say it's just how it works in the game. Because it doesn't happen at all, from what I remember yesterday, anywhere else. Oh well, let's keep going.
Try different actions with different items. I almost forgot. Use LR triggers to change the camera angle. Did you get all of that? That's all.
That's the short one, everyone. Alright. Best part is, like, for Sonic, Shadow, Tails, Eggman, and Knuckles, there's just a lot of carryover. A good minute of his explanations are the same explanation for all three of them. So they probably should have been in the basic controls, but... oh well.
Let me tell you about Sonic and Shadow's game.
Oh yeah, and for some reason Omochao calls them games instead of levels or stages. Just ignore that.
Sonic and Shadow's games are high-speed 3D action games. The rules are simple. Make your way to the center of the screen, and the first to touch the gold ring clears the stage. After clearing the stage, a ranking screen will appear with time and score.
The best part about all this is how I'm doing this after I technically beat the game and got 180 emblems. It's even more redundant.
Your score is based on enemies destroyed, rings collected, and tricks performed.
I had no idea.
Don't forget about the action link.
This game has really weird names for things. Just go with it.
In certain places, you can perform action combos to score technique points. Fast and with a little style of your own, this is how to get rank up points.
So by style of your own, you mean abuse the bounce bracelet as soon as you get it and never touch the ground running ever again. Gotcha.
Most important are the rings. Taking damage without having any rings will end your game, but you knew that already.
Thanks for that.
Get as many rings as you can. Don't forget. Let me start by explaining the actions for Sonic and Shadow.
He should have started with that.
Homing attack. Press A button to jump and again while in mid-air to do the homing attack against your enemies.
I'm sorry, it's hard to meme about this when I already went through this yesterday.
The best way to defeat the enemy.
I mean, I don't know. Somersault's pretty good. Spin dash is pretty good. Letting yourself get hit with invincibility, that's pretty good too.
Somersault. This is a brand new action for Sonic. Use B button to somersault.
Sorry, Shadow, you don't get the somersault.
The somersault can be used to defeat enemies, break wooden containers, and get through tight spaces.
It's really weird here too. I get scared because sometimes he'll go onto a new subtitle all on his own, and sometimes I have to A-button like this.
To run at supersonic speed.
It's so hard to tell sometimes.
Press and hold B button to charge up, then release the button to do the spin dash.
When it's like that, it's fine, because he's clearly still talking, but sometimes it's just another sentence like it was when he was talking with the somersaults. That was... I think I actually accidentally skipped that the first time through.
The spin dash is very fast.
There's another one I probably would have skipped.
Technique, and use it wisely. Grinding. This is also a brand new Sonic action.
Well, I mean, not really new anymore, but it was new when this game came out, so you know what, fine, I'll give you a benefit of the doubt.
Grind down anything that resembles a rail. Give it a try.
This is also by far the worst Sonic game when it comes to grinding on rails, but we're probably not supposed to talk about that. At least he got brand new shoes for grinding that he would lose in every other game he grinds in, including the re-releases of this game, I believe.
Find a rail and sport a grind. Actually, the number of special actions for each character will increase if you find more level up items. You don't know what a level up item is? Somewhere in each stage are hidden level up items. There are also power up items as well.
By the way, he says this for all three of them, and he never specifies what the difference between level up and power up item is. I assume power up items are the things like speed up shoes, invincibility, shields, those type of things that you lose after a few seconds or when the stage ends or whatever criteria is met getting hit.
Find the item and I will tell you more about the action. Try learning how to use them all to increase your score.
I don't know, I can't remember the last time anyone ever used Ancient Light to increase their score, but whatever, you do you.
Tell you about the Sonic and Shadow 2P versus mode. The rules are simple. The first one to the gold ring is the winner. One more thing. There are very special attacks used only in the versus mode.
And the final boss, but we're not going to talk about that.
Special attacks are awarded after collecting 20, 40, and 60 rings.
I mean, I guess it is nice that you're able to trigger them yourself as opposed to just having your opponent use them on you, but still.
Once you have the special attack, the action window will appear on screen. Press B button to use the attack. The more rings you collect, the more special attacks you can use. That's all. Let me tell you about Eggman and Tails games. Tails and Eggman's games are 3D lock-on shooting games. The rules are simple. Shoot and destroy as many enemies as possible. Then find the gold ring to clear the stage.
I mean, if that's all you did, you would get a pretty lousy score, but okay.
Locking on is the key to leveling up. Get more technique points by locking on to multiple enemies at the same time.
That one line sounds like it's voiced by someone else, and it's really jarring.
The other key is maintaining health. When the health gauge at the bottom of the screen becomes 0, you die.
Oh, Michelle, we love you so much.
By collecting rings, your health will slowly recover. Get rings.
You gotta love how he just sits here and tells you the super obvious stuff like, oh, but you already knew that if you ran out of rings and got hit, you would die. But you didn't know if you had a health bar and it ran out, you would die.
Let me explain Tails and Eggman's special actions.
You know, an upgrade I'm really surprised they never went through with is why didn't they add an upgrade that added, say, 3 lasers, like maybe have them all be the same height vertically, but they're spread out in like a fork with one in the center, then one on the left and one on the right, just spreading outward. Like, that would have been extremely useful. I'm amazed they never did that. Maybe they thought it would make the game too easy or something, I don't know. I'm really surprised that never ended up happening.
Once you have locked on, release B button to fire the homing missile.
It's just something I was thinking about when I was playing through Cannon Swords. Like, wow, we really need that. But never got it.
Try locking on to multiple enemies with a homing laser.
Maybe if we ever got an SA3, they would have done it then. But we didn't, and I feel like at this point, even if we ever do get an SA3, it's probably not even going to be a real SA3. It's just going to be... If anything, it's probably going to be something more like Sonic Unleashed 2. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing by any stretch. Unleashed is a perfectly good game. One of my favorites of the series. I'm not going to complain if we get that. It's just... You don't really see mech stages or treasure hunting there. The most different thing you had is the Werehog, and even that was basically just a beat-em-up brawler a la Prince of Persia.
Defeating multiple enemies with a single lock-on scores you technique points. But it's important to remember this. The aiming laser and lock-on only last a few seconds before they disappear. Fire quickly. Besides the homing missile, you also have a powerful Vulcan missile.
I love how they retcon this later on in the series, and like they still have Vulcan missiles and Vulcan attacks, but they spell it differently. It's like, whatever, it's just little things that throw me off.
Fire it. Use the Vulcan missile to destroy items that you cannot lock onto. The number of Tails actions will increase as you find more level up items during the action stages. You don't know what a level up item is?
Yeah, well, you know, I wasn't really paying attention when you told me last time, or yesterday, so have at it, or, you know, the entire game.
Somewhere in each stage are hidden level up items. There are also power up items as well. Find the items and I will tell you more about the action. Try learning how to use them all to increase your score. Let me tell you about Tails and Eggman's 2P versus mode. The rules are simple.
Shoot each other!
Your opponent until
Oh, well,
he's
yeah.
gone. That's it.
I was kidding, but apparently that really is it.
But remember, your opponent will be shooting homing missiles at you. The homing missiles will home in on you, so remember to use the walls and springs to avoid them. Try locking on to your opponent while avoiding his homing missiles. One more thing. There are very special attacks used only in the versus mode.
We already went over this, but okay.
Special attacks are awarded after collecting 20, 40, and 60 rings.
Again, it's not really exclusive to the versus mode. We saw these in the main story. How could I ever forget that stupid laser from the Tails or Eggman Fight V2?
Once you have the special attack,
Or even the missiles, for that matter.
it will appear on screen. Press B button to use the attack. That's all. Let me tell you about Knuckles and Rouge's game. Knuckles and Rouge's games are treasure hunting games. You have to find the 3 pieces of the Master Emerald in each stage. Use the radar and hints to find them. The radar is at the bottom of the screen. When you get close to the emerald, the color of the light becomes red.
But for some reason, we only show you where one at a time is, even though SA1 shows you all 3 at once. Please do not ask us to justify this decision. We just felt like padding out the game some more.
Hints are also useful in finding emeralds.
Knuckles' eye looks really, really distorted.
Touchscreen monitors will give you up to 3 hints for each emerald.
That is clearly not a touchscreen, but whatever. 2001, I guess I can let it slide.
If you forget the hint, just pause the game and they will be displayed.
But I'm not going to tell you about them. Beep boop. Nah, just kidding.
Attack action. Knuckles' specialty is punching, and Rouge's is kicking. Press B button and try it. Try the different actions available when you press B button multiple times, or press it while running. Try breaking wooden containers with
You know, I like how he doesn't tell you how to do the aerial combo that you straight up need for some of the emerald pieces in hard mode.
Knuckles and Rouge both have the special ability to glide. While in mid-jump, press and hold A button to glide. You can only glide downwards. Gliding upwards is not possible.
Well, yeah, that's not a glide at that point. It's flying.
To stop gliding, release A button to drop. Knuckles and Rouge can scale any wall with ease. To grab onto a wall, just glide into it, or use forward and A button. If a wall or overhang is a 90-degree angle, you cannot scale it. Knuckles and Rouge are also good swimmers.
Well, one is better than the other, but look at that.
Jump into the water and press B button to dive underwater. Underwater, press A button to swim up and B button to swim down. Remember to come up for breaths of air. You cannot stay under forever.
You know, unless you're playing as Knuckles with the air necklace, which is the reason why he's better than Rouge underwater, but fine.
The number of special actions for Knuckles and Rouge.
I like how they bring it up here as if like they know our complaint here.
You don't know what a level up item is? Somewhere in each stage are hidden level up items. There are also power up items as well. Find the item and I will tell you more about the action. Let me explain Knuckles and Rouge's 2P versus mode. The rules are simple. The first one to find 2 of the 3 hidden emeralds is the winner. Pay close attention to your opponent's hint messages and radar, as it may help you locate the emeralds.
I love how they're basically telling you to cheat. Like, this is kind of the reason why I feel like split screen gaming died for a good while. It's just because everyone would always cheat by looking at their opponent's screens. Like, what's the point of doing a versus match locally if you're just gonna look at your opponent's screen? Oh, sure, you can go hide somewhere, but that's not gonna help you against someone that can just see your screen. I know that there are some games and systems that are bringing it back, like Switch has a lot more of that local multiplayer. That's kind of just been an Nintendo thing in general, though. They just prefer having split screen instead of online. But that's a ramble thing, whatever. Fine.
One more thing. There are very special attacks used only in the versus mode. Special attacks are awarded after collecting 20, 40, and 60 rings. Once you have the special attack, the action window will appear on screen. Press B button to use the attack. That's all.
One more to go. Ciao, Gardens.
About Chow. Do you know about Chow? Chow are adorable creatures. Everyone in the world loves them.
Well, let's just say that phrase didn't age that well. Let's just say that's a very debatable statement. There are people that absolutely love them, and then there's people that really, really don't.
Chow live in the Chow Garden.
Thanks for the redundancy.
You can raise your own Chow in the Chow Garden. They are so cute. To enter the Chow Garden, you have to find the Chow key first. Come back when you find it. I'll give you the Chow Garden tour. Listen carefully. There are a lot of things in the Chow Garden.
This looks like a beta screenshot of the garden, because I feel like the trees are further away than that. Like, I'm actually going to go look after this, because I feel like they're further back than that.
This is a Chow egg. It will hatch over time, but it is wise to care for it until it hatches. How you take care of your Chow will affect its personality. Baby Chow love to eat nuts. This is their favorite snack.
That is not a nut.
Chow these
If anything, that's probably an orange.
Nuts grow on trees. If you shake the trees, they will fall off.
Maybe a mango? I was like, it's definitely not a nut.
There are many kinds of nuts. Find out which is best for your chow.
You know, when you go in the actual garden, they call them fruits. I have no idea why Omochao insists on calling them nuts.
This is a tree seed. Plant it in the garden and watch it grow to bear nuts. The trees only live for a while, so collect as many seeds as you can.
Again with the nuts thing, but I don't even think they're legumes, let alone nuts.
Your chow will plant the seeds. If you find them, give them to your chow. These are the small animals,
I know I raced them once.
and this is the Chaos Drive.
I wanted to race them once. Then I learned they're inanimate objects.
Hand over either one to chow and watch it change. Try using combinations.
Don't. Just use animals all the time. Chaos drives are nice because they don't take away a stat, but they don't give enough in return.
You can find either one in the action stage.
But who are we kidding? You're just gonna farm one level over and over again, aren't you? Because you know that's totally not something I would do. It's not like I went through Radical Highway over and over and over and over again because it was the only half-decent level to find speed animals in. No, that's silly.
They may be hiding in various spots. Try to find them. What? You need advice on how to raise your newborn chow?
By the way, the trees just moved further. Like, now they're right next to the pond. Like, what?
I guess I can tell you about it. Now, let me tell you how to care for your chow.
They must have had some shifting that tree around development or something.
Chow love to be held and petted all the time. To hold your chow, pick them up with B button and hold it down. They love to be snuggled. If flowers start to bloom around chow, that means it's the mating season.
Are we not going to bring up the fact that this is a child chow and flowers started blooming around it? Like, I have to force my chow to breed in order to get a chow out of it. And even then, like, I didn't even end up showing it because the chow I bred didn't have that good of stats. Like, I tried to build it up and it just didn't work. Like, I tried to give it some good swim stats so that I could boost that up and it backfired.
When they may lay new eggs for you to raise.
But if I had included it, it would have been at the very beginning of the chow grinding too. Just if you were wondering, like, if you wondered why that video was so short, it's because there's about 2.5 hours that got cut out of it.
Chow hate crowded gardens. Try to limit 8 chow to a garden. Some chow may move to another garden on their own if it gets too crowded.
Translation: the Dreamcast and Gamecube could only handle 8 chow in one place at a time.
This is the end of the Chow Garden tutorial. Aren't Chow cute? You can visit the Chow Garden anytime. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Alright, well, I decided I was going to check it out, so let's do it. I used an action replay code to unlock all the elements I could. Just because I wanted to see if I could get Omochao and Amy's in well, not Maria, because I didn't get every emblem on this version, but I wanted to see how much of them I could get. By the way, loading's longer on here than PC, so, just know that. I'm going to start by checking in here. Trees are... This seems like roughly the same place they are in the HD version. Okay then. I can't even afford it if I did go over there, but I'm gonna see if it shows up now for either Amy or Omochao. Maria's not gonna show up again because I don't have 180 emblems. But it would be at the very top of the list. No, it's not here. This the thing at the top. It's not here. I remember them being fairly rare too. Like maybe a 10% spawn chance for either of them. So it's low. But anyway, that's it. Until we end up doing the battle thing, we're done.
Is this the stage you would like to go to?
And I have no idea how long it's going to be. I might end up doing that in a week or two. I might not end up doing that for another, I don't know, half a year or longer. So don't hold your breath over it, but I am going to try to get it done sooner than later. So thank you all for watching. Next time we'll probably be starting off Sonic Advance. And for those of you that have been upset about your sub boxes being cluttered, rejoice. This is the last video where the bi-daily uploads is going to occur. Take care.